last year's postseason, and they played this year. And of course, the biggest storyline heading into this game, can Lamar Jackson avoid starting his career with a playoff record of 0-3? Now, these are the numbers. Since tracking began in 2006, Lamar Jackson's total QBR in the playoffs is tied with Andy Dalton for the lowest in the league by any quarterback with at least 2 playoff starts. And when you consider all the success he's had in the regular season, I think that the narrative here feels to many people as though there's enormous pressure on Lamar Jackson this Sunday. Ryan Clark, do you think there is?
You know what? I think there's enormous pressure, but let me say this. Early on in the season, I talked about liking Kyler Murray a little more than Lamar Jackson, and all of a sudden I became this Lamar Jackson hater, but I love Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is a great player, and I thought he said something that was very important this week. He talked about not winning playoff games and talked about some of the great players. I didn't mention them or said great players haven't won playoff games as well. Here is how I heard that. I was the 5th quarterback drafted in my class. I was the last pick of the first round. Baker Mayfield has never won a playoff game, hadn't been to one until this week. Sam Darnold's never been to one. Josh Allen's never won a playoff game, and Josh Rosen was on the practice squad. None of those guys have reached the heights that I have individually, which is winning a regular season MVP. Yet, I'm the only one that is judged by playoff wins. That's a tribute to his greatness. That's a tribute to his uniqueness. That's a tribute to his success. That out of all of those guys, the only guy that we make sure that every playoff game is a referendum on who he is as a quarterback is Lamar Jackson. What that tells us is the way that he's played, the way that he's carried himself, the things that he has done are absolutely phenomenal. And does Lamar Jackson need to win this playoff game? Absolutely. But does that mean that he is not a great quarterback and one of the future stars of this league that will carry the shield? Absolutely not. Lamar Jackson needs to win just because the Ravens could get an opportunity to win the Super Bowl, but not because he hasn't proved anything.
I happen to totally agree with you, and I was going to make my Peyton Manning comparison, but now I see the look on Bart Scott's face, and I need to hear what Bart has in mind. Go, Bart.
I mean, I couldn't disagree with you more, Ryan Clark. You know I love you like a play cousin. But I tell you what, when you talk about Lamar Jackson and why he's held to a higher standard, he's held to a higher standard because guess what? He was the last of those quarterbacks picked. Well, obviously, he's one of the last of those quarterbacks picked. When that happens, that means you go to a better football team. You go to a football team that was ready to win right now. This is a team that has weapons all around him. This is a team that has one of the best defensive personnel in the division. This is an organization that is accustomed to a rookie quarterback carrying their team deep into the playoffs. When you think about Joe Flacco, you think about what Ben Roethlisberger was able to do. He inherited that type of team. He's come up small in the big moments, not big in the small moments. You know what I mean? So he has to show that he can be a leader and that he can be a PT player, a primetime player. That's what he's failed to do. And this is huge for him to be able to get paid. He's trying to get paid like Mahomes. He has the same resume as Mahomes. He just doesn't have the playoff wins. And this is a team that goes back against the Tennessee Titans that came in their house and stumped on their chest. Last year, he was the best, had one of the best records in the conference. He put up 12 points. I was there. I saw a tear come out of Ozzie Newsome's eye. You know what I mean? This team disrespected him, stepped on the logo. This rivalry goes back. Because remember, Ryan, this team, this Tennessee Titans team, was in the old division with us. That was the real black and blue division, right? And they've been disrespectful. And if you can't put them in check and let them complete the cycle on you by beating you, look at this right here, man. This is when Ray Lewis took Eddie George's soul. This is a history. This is a hatred. This is a rivalry. But we just call him 500 Fisher. We hated Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher hated Brian Billick. Now you think about the rivalry between Harbaugh. You think about Vrabel. These are two teams that are built tough. This is like a team in the South that's built like we're built. And you have to smack them in the face, man. And Lamar Jackson has to do his part. If not, then you can't give him that extension. You have to hold off on extension and say, hey, until you prove that you can win a big game, we can't put that cheese on your taco, baby.
I loved every word of that. Go ahead, RC.
Bart, you act like they picked him 32nd because that was their first pick, and y'all had just won the Super Bowl. You know y'all ain't won the Super Bowl in forever. Don't act like it was the 32nd.
Hold on. It was 2012. It was 2012.
Because they was the best team in football, Bart. Bart, Joe Flacco had that team dookie. That team was terrible. Until Joe Flacco gets hurt and you insert Lamar, they were nothing. Don't act like he took over the New England Patriots like Tom Brady did in his first outing. That wasn't the team he was playing for. This team is good because of Lamar Jackson. This team got to the point that they got to because of Lamar Jackson. Ozzie Newsome had a tear in his eye because he understood the trade he made with the Philadelphia Eagles to get the 32nd pick again was the one that he needed to get to that position he was in because Joe Flacco couldn't get him there. It didn't matter who was on the team. And so now what in the Benedict Arnold did you drink this morning? Who are you? Who are you, Bart? You need to know who you are. Understand your place. This man is being compared to all of these quarterbacks drafted in 18 with him. None of them have a playoff game, a playoff win. We don't talk about it. Sam Darnold ain't been there. We don't talk about it. This is Baker Mayfield's first time. We don't talk about it. Josh Rosen was on the practice squad.
He was the number one overall pick.
That's the point.
What happened.
All of these people. You lucky Allie saying let Kimberly get in, and I love Kimberly. Boy,
let me get Kimberly in.
I wish we could put the pads on right now.
Kimberly, I'll tell you what this sounds like.
Let's do it. Bang, bang. Oklahoma.
This sounds like the pregame pep talk that Bart Scott would be giving Lamar Jackson if he was in the locker room before the game Sunday, which he might be, for all we know.
He better be big trust.
Listen, this is playoff TV right here. This is playoff TV, right? We're ready. We're ready. All right. What do you want from me, Greeny? What can I add to this convo?
Kimberly, how do you see the pressure on Lamar Jackson this weekend?
Boy, got me rocking, man.
Lamar Jackson is somebody who has been criticized from day one. I was at the combine in front of the lectern when he was talking about all the doubters. And he said, I don't care what people think. That's not true. He does. And he does try to shut people up with his play. But so far, he has been great in the regular season. But I was at that Titans playoff game last year. I saw a Ravens team that did not look like the Ravens who were running over everybody all season long. So while even if Lamar loses this weekend, we will go into 2021 saying, well, the Ravens are still good. They're still one of the top AFC teams. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But the narrative of him not being able to win on the big stage will still be there. And this is how he erases this narrative. He's still a great player, and he's a victim of being so good because, as Ryan said, all those other QBs that were drafted ahead of him, you haven't really seen them get as far as Lamar, right? But Lamar has to take it to another level because of how
lost
good
to
he
the
is
Chargers.
we expect.
Ryan, open your eyeballs. You hear me talking to you?
I don't hear you, bro. I'm frozen. You know,
He lost to the Chargers.
I would prefer not to, but I have to. Let's leave this here for the moment. We will come back to this, I promise, as we work.